Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of the Man Cave. Today we're going to continue our discussion on the whole issue of crime and violence, and we're going to talk about what we can do. Because the thing is, talking is not sufficient. Yeah, talking is only a part of the process, but doing is a better part. So we're going to try and come up with some ideas on how to do this. Yeah, how to impact our community, and we're starting from our neighbors, and from the neighbors to the wider community to basically the parish. It would be good if all of us could become mentors to younger men, and speak at us. If we want to speak of a talk about, you know, what tomorrow holds for young men, what is expected of them, what the society requires of them, would be good. We will start using people, we'll start using some persons to, of course, get that information out and to get that kind of conversation going. That's one of the important things we want to do. That is to start to have the kind of dialogue that will lead to work that will lead to us impacting more than just ourselves on the line, you know. So that's one of the things that we want to do. And we're going to send out the thing. We're going to send out a link. You can, in the meantime, if you're on YouTube and you're hearing us, you can actually use the regular link to be on the blog, so you'll be able to send in your comments so we can able to have the conversation. Because today's really a conversation that we want to have with you guys. Yes, because we need the dialogue today even more than ever. We want suggestions as to how we can improve our country, the state of our country, in terms of the behavior of young people, in terms of not even young people alone, but older folks. What can we do to impact the quality of our communication, the quality of our life, reduce conflict, and reduce the violence that seems to plague us so very often? But before we go into all that, we have an icebreaker for you, and we hope that you will like it. But one, the comments them still kind of talk about these matters and talk about these things, all right? So we're looking forward to seeing that. So tech team, we're gonna put that up right now. Um, we have to find innovative ways to stream it. So it's coming up. The volume is out, tech. So if we can improve the volume. Our technology is giving us a little trouble. Spare with us a little bit because we would really love for you to see the video. Okay. Until we settle that, we can continue our conversation. Um, and then when it is settled, then we can input it. All right. But before we go into the meat and the serious meat of the matter that we want to be viewing, we want to just continue a conversation. We want to continue a conversation about relationships. Yes. And I'm not going to go red table. You know, I am not going to. I have a brown table, so I'm not going red table way. But it is important to note that Jada suggested that she wants her family and herself to concentrate on the deep issues, you know, healing. She wants to, yeah, concentrate on the healing. Yes. And that is important. You know what I mean? Healing is always important. Um, let's do a quick recap. We have had a long conversation. Um, let me just pull up my notes. And I find if one thing I find with this phone is that a number of things that you don't can't sort of remember. It's particularly me, seeing that my hair is gray and my memory sometimes fails me. We started out having conversation about a number of things, you know. as a group. We looked at sex in marriage and all of those things. We look at relationship. Um, a number. We look at job opportunities. We look at what men ought to be, what men were called to be, what they ought to be. And let me take the opportunity to, of course, welcome, of course, the Acts 2 people. They're watching us live and it's good. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, that's straight scripture. Acts 2, straight scripture. So, the people of God, they're, listening, and we just want to welcome them. I want to welcome our regular viewers to the Man Cave. I'm not seeing anything on the side, but I figure something will soon come up. We do have our regular visitors who, deal with some matters and of course contributing positively to the cave and positive to the men who participate on the cave and even those outside of the cave. So it's very important, very important. In a short while, I'll be sending out a link. Hopefully, that link will refresh your mind because sometimes we have a little challenge there, and we will be working through the process with you guys. So look at men's health, relationship. Um, we need to look deeper on financial literacy. We look at budgeting and how important that is to our relationship. You know what I mean? We need to start looking at man living out his God-given gift. We look at communication to a certain degree. We haven't reached in-laws just yet, but we look at communication to a certain degree. Domestic abuse and communication, yes. And so a number of issues we looked at. We chatted, we shared. The men had your input. I led that, and I'm expecting more. Beg your pardon. The little hunger is in the house, but we can do this because we have fasted for many days. Yes, so a number of things have been happening. We want to change the mindset of men, and we want for the man cave to become a resource for men. So you can look back at some of the things that we have discussed. Some of the issues you might not agree with. So the point is not for you to agree with all the issues, but for us to put all of the issues on the table so we can basically have the conversation about where we want to go and what we're about and how we can get about doing that. We want to impact society, we want to impact our family and our neighborhood, and how we can do that. So that is the important part. And so we have looked at a number of those issues. Hoping before the end of the season to fine tune and look at some issues that we didn't deal with in a fulsome way. We want to look back at some of those and deal with them in a fulsome way. You know, and it's quite important, and we're looking forward to hearing from you guys. We're looking forward to seeing the participation. We do have some projects coming up, and we spoke about the projects. There's two projects on the table. We do have a business school in Portsmouth and a house that is badly in need of, I won't say repair because you can't repair that, but we need to, construct a structure for a gentleman who doesn't have the wherewithal to do that. So we can contribute by participating. Zero passing two block, mixing some matter, that kind of thing. We have to do these things. These things are very important. As men, we must help the community, not just men, but women too. We must help with the community to become all that it can become. Yes? And not only that, but we need to go back to, there are some philosophies from Africa that are very important. Yes? Ubuntu, I am because you are. If you were not, then I would not be either. They emphasize the importance of people coming together to make an impact on their community first and foremost. And they recognize that everybody in that process is important and that we must value every input at every stage. We must value those input to ensure that as we go further, grow older, as we develop more, we don't lose anybody along the way. Too often we find that we lose people. The older folks get lost. People don't pay them no mind. You know, they are left out in the cold. We don't consider them. When we make plans, we don't make plans for them. Yeah, that kind of thing. So it's important that we do what we need to do to ensure But at the end of the day, nobody gets left behind. No man, no woman, no child gets left behind. And as men, yes, as a priest, the protector, and the provider of his household, yes, that's what we need to do. Ensure that nobody gets left behind. Society must conform to certain norms and certain principles, and we must be the vanguard of those norms and principles. We must be the people who ensure that at the end of the day, the values are handed down from generation to generation. And therefore, we must treat our sons and teach our sons in a way that he can become a conduit for the handing down of those information and those principles into perpetuity. That's how it should be. That's how it ought to be, and that's all we should ensure that we make it. No, I think we're up with our video. I think our video issues are sorted out. Um, and like how it's sorted out now, we can just run into the video, which is our icebreaker, um, and we can have a quick discussion afterwards. Just get your typing finger up. Just make sure your typing finger working. Are we up, tech? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
To a man, sex is an end. To a woman, sex is a means to an end. When a man has sex with you, he feels that he has conquered you. When a woman has sex with you, she feels she owns you. That's why you must be careful who you allow to come into that space of your life. You must be disciplined enough to choose who you allow, because do you know that psychologists have now discovered that when you have sex with someone for the next 15 years, every good thing, every evil thing, every curse, every negative thing in that person's life is likely to be present in your life. It's not a scientific thing. The Bible says that he that is joined to an harlot, is it not the Bible? God is so real. God is so powerful. Stop living your life. Hey, if I can just have sex. If I can just have sex. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Maybe if you're a jackal, 30 minutes. It's over. It's more to life. Sex is just humanity. Don't let it be at the center of your life. At the anatomy of the man and the anatomy of the woman, so that you see why we differ when we talk about sex as male and female. Minimum of 5 major ways a man is different from a woman. Minimum. We're different in our physical being. We're different in the way we think. Same brain, but we think differently. When a woman gets pregnant in the 29th week of that pregnancy, if she's going to have a boy, the left side of that baby boy, something happens to it. Or the right, I can't remember now, the right side, the right hemisphere. Something happens to it. If she's going to have a girl in the 29th week of the pregnancy, and you can Google this, it's a medical fact, nothing happens. So a man thinks with only one side of his brain. Functionally, I'm going to explain to you. But a woman thinks with both sides of her brain. Medical science, medical fact. That is the reason why a man thinks deeper and a woman thinks faster. A man will consider the pro and the con. If we go and fight with our neighbor now, we will look. A woman is saying, let's go and fight. It doesn't matter. We will leave this house. She doesn't know where she will pack to. We will leave this house. Who is the landlord? The man is thinking, because the man has enough space to think. The man is not inferior. He's not superior. The woman is not inferior. She's not. You are just different. So understand, a man thinks deep. A woman thinks fast. That is the reason, because a woman uses both hemispheres, the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere of her brain. That is why a woman can multitask. A woman can do many things at the same time. As a man, let your wife just leave the baby or the babies with you for 3 hours. Let her go to the markets. And as soon as she leaves, the toddler begins to cry. The baby begins to cry. You know, that one poo-poos, and the doorbell rings, and the gas is burning. The first thing the man is likely to do is go to the window to see if the woman is already coming. But excuse me, this is what a woman does every day. She answers the telephone, she cuddles the baby, she cleans the toddler, she uses her wrapper to remove what is on the fire, she goes to the door, and then she says, excuse me, I'm coming. She manages it. Because the way she's wired, she juggles, she uses both sides of her brain. When a man is driving and you are talking to him, you want him to do something, he unconsciously removes his leg from the pedal. Because a man can do one thing at a time. Most men. It's the way they are wired. We're different in the way we think. A man is thinking, I'm 35, I'm 40, I'm 50. I don't have a house, or I don't have a second house. The woman is thinking, Christmas is coming, what shall we wear? They are not inferior. Both of you are good. Both of you are needed. Both of you are necessary. I'm taking you on this journey so you will understand why we behave the way we behave when it comes to sex. We are different. We're different. If a man is as short as a bottle, if he beats you, you will need Panadol Extra to wake up. That's the way we're made. We are also different in our sex life. A man's sex life is like a piece of paper that catches fire. The fire is on. He has discharged. In fact, the next thing is he starts to snore. Mission accomplished. A woman's sex life is like charcoal. You have to fan and fan and fan to flame. But when she catches fire, it takes time for her. That's why she needs before play and after play. That's why your wife is complaining. Why are you always sleeping when I still need you? Why is it only 1 minute? Why? Because it took her time to get to that plateau. And then you just abandoned her there and you are sleeping. Sex. We're different. You know why we're different in that area of our lives? Because a man's life can be departmentalized. This is sex. This is business. This is church. This is ministry. This is that. A woman's life is not departmentalized. A woman's life is like the hub of a wheel. You know that bicycle? Everything is connected. In fact, if you want to sleep with your wife at 9 p.m., you must start preparing her at 6 a.m. when you wake up. Because if anything goes wrong before 9 p.m., everything is connected. So you will hear her say, what's wrong? Nothing. When your wife says nothing, there is something. Are you okay? Yes, because a woman carries her problem everywhere. Dear Lord, I bring you this problem. Jehovah, I surrender all to you. Lord, please, I thank you because you will do it in Jesus' name. Amen. As soon as she stands up, she carries it. And the angels are looking for the problem. Madam has carried it. And then she begins to transfer the aggression. What did you say? Don't leave me alone. No, leave me. So you're wondering what happened. She says, you remember when you shouted at me in the bathroom? You think I didn't notice? I just kept quiet. Oh, remember when your cousin was there and you see a woman? That is who she is. If you don't have this understanding, it will affect your understanding of sex. What's wrong with you? You're always complaining. In fact, one man sent a mail to me one day. I was in England. He said, "Ma'am, please, ma, as you are going to preach, I know you don't have anything to say about it, but please mention this. Anytime I want to touch my wife, she'll be praying in tongues." Everything affects a woman. Therefore, everything affects her sex life. Maybe she has a problem, so she's binding and loosening and and all. And you're wondering, why is it? Some women, they've been raped before, so they have this perception about sex that is very wrong. Because a woman's life is not departmentalized. And if you're not careful, she brings it into marriage and she becomes frigid. And you're wondering why it's only missionary style. Are you done? Have you finished? Souls are perishing. I know you're all mature, so I can say all these things that I'm saying, So, and you wonder, the man wants you to explore. The man wants this. The man wants that. Sometimes, if you don't deal with your past, it affects you. Let me make you laugh. About 1 month after we got married, I will wake up and quickly, if I wanted to make love with my husband, I must tell him, please switch off the light, switch off the light. I cannot just be touching you like this, Then I will quickly go to the bathroom. I will shower. Then when I come to the room, I will put a towel around my body and be creaming my body. One day my husband removed. I said, I don't like it all. I don't like it at all. I don't like. He said, but we are married. I said, I know, but because where I'm coming from, that's not it. So I had to grow. Some of the men, you are not patient with your wives, and then you're wondering why this happens in marriage.
Interesting piece. Again, it's always interesting when you're a woman say some things that a man would normally say that would cause the house to get burned down. You know what I mean? But it's interesting. So we want to hear basically from you guys. What's your thought? It's our icebreaker. We thought it would be interesting that you hear the perspective, not just from a man's point of view, but from a woman's point of view. And the point of view correlates, yes, it finds some congruence with men's perspective as well. Um, but that's a real woman talking about the real issues and addressing some very pertinent situations that exist in relationships now. Um, some people might find, take umbrage to that. Neither here nor there. It's somebody's opinion, and some of it is factual, can be proven scientifically and otherwise. Um, but what's your thoughts? So as we go through some of the issues that we are going to go through now, what's your thoughts? We want to hear your thoughts. You can just type it in the chat. We'll respond to it because we want to hear that we want that kind of conversation taking place. We want the dialogue taking place. We want to work through the narratives and to ensure that at the end of the day that we are not just on the same page, but that we're becoming more understanding, that we're understanding more of our partners and some of the issues that they face that we sometimes don't consider, and that kind of thing. So understanding, communication, those are important issues that we're going to take away from it. And we want to just hear your view on the whole matter as we go forward. So, very interested position. Men and women are different, yes, psychologically, mentally, they are different, and there are some issues that women deal with much different from men. I know the new narrative and the new trend is for us to present ourselves as non-binary, yes, and therefore, you know, we don't define ourselves by our gender or sex, nor none of those things, because we are now non-binary. We are transhuman. We have transitioned into our own humanoid. Yes. And I understand that some persons would have gone to the extreme to configure or reconfigure their bodies, to make whatever is happening happen, and to make themselves in their mind more comfortable, despite the fact that they have to pump all of this chemical in their bodies through pharmaceuticals in order to maintain it. But those are some of the interesting things that we discuss here on the cave, you know what I mean? Man cave, we discuss all of these. These are very important issues to us. It impacts our family, it impacts our family value, it impacts our relationships, not just with our wives, but relationship with our kids. Because the older kids get, the more autonomy they have to decide what they want to do. And whether we like it or not, some of those things will confront us and we'll have to love it or, tough, but that's how it's going to be. Or some of our spouses will also change because their mindset will change and their position will change. That's a new thing. No, people is changing as them have a mind. As we have a mind, let's do a thing and let's do the road. You know what I mean? So those are some of the issues that we want to hear from you. I want to return to the whole issue of crime and violence and communication, social abuse, and all of those things. And again, I want to just reiterate something. So people think that abuse is just physical. Everybody get trumped up on these things. That's not the only thing that is considered to be abuse. You do have mental and verbal and all kind of abuse, psychological abuse. We can drill down and we can get very specific, but you have several things that we can discuss and talk about in terms of abuse. And the fact of the matter is, some persons might be unaware, and some of us might be guilty of it. If we are, then we need to take stock. Now that we know that we need to take stock, and we need to basically make some adjustments in order to ensure that we don't become a part of the problem, but remain a part of the solution that we want. Yeah. We don't expect anybody else to come and hold our hands, and therefore we expect to do our part in addressing some of these issues. We looked at last week the whole issue of how we communicate, the whole issue of the national dialogue, the whole issue of, I think we mentioned the music. If not, we're going to talk about some of the music now. So the music is very graphic. It's very graphic sexually. It's very graphic violently. So we talk about issues like the gun culture. We talk about the glorification of a bad man. We talk about the fact that, not just men who aspire to be like that one, but women aspire to be with that one, um, because they think that there's some great benefit to be had that way. Some of us have become kind of, and I don't want to say loose, but yes, we have become a little bit loose. I remember watching a video recently. Just by accident, it came up, so I basically watched a piece of it. A young lady was on stage with one of our singers who very raunchy, but have been one like a following, Dexter Daps, and she was seemingly all in heat. Took off her clothes, and her breast was out, all these things, and they were doing gyrating and stuff on stage. I was saying, like, when did we come to this place? When did we come to this place? And if she has a boyfriend, because she have a husband, so it's going to be war later. But if she has a boyfriend, somebody who she's committed to, how would you feel about the activity? Yes, and vice versa. If Mr. Daps have a partner, spouse, how does that spouse feel, when he's being so explicitly sexual with female in the public domain? And sometimes those things take a little time to fester, would usually end up in physical altercation sometimes. And sometimes people don't talk, but them keep it in the back of their head. And then when some issues come out, everything's boiled over. For persons in relationships, and as I said last week, it was important that we understand what kind of relationship we're in. Because, we could be in a relationship like our good friend Jada and Will, and all that entails this open relationship. Um, there's also exclusive relationships. There's partial exclusive relationship. I mean, I'm exclusive when I'm with you, however, I can be with somebody else. Relationship that facilitate bisexuals. You know, I am with you. You're the man that I want to be with, not me. Not me. Not me. Yeah, yeah. Just we're talking about relationships. So there's some women who and some men who say, "This is the woman I want to be with," and I want her to have my kids. However, there's our next man on the side. Yes. So all these different configurations and these different understanding and these different um, operation lend itself to violence. And we say it as if it's okay, but it's not okay. I gather that most of the murders in Jamaica in particular with persons who are considered to be members of the LGBTQ group, yes, demographics, it is usually time of passion. The man kill the man, the woman kill them, yes. And we have on top of that some man who is so jealous that if our next man upon a woman and she smile and wave, him go and go beat her up, something and kill her too. And I know they are heterosexuals. There's some man who have gone to jail. I remember just being so distraught about a case where a man who went to jail for about 10 years. And he came back, and when he came back to the house expecting everything to be the same. Um, and when he saw that she had a child, yes, and the child was getting the attention that he would have gotten 10 years prior, he killed the child. And I think there's an attempt to, we attempted to take her life in his life. Um, we walk on very fragile ground, and therefore we must be principled in our walk in order to ensure that we don't contribute to that kind of mindset. And that's one of the things, that's what I want to talk about. That's what I want you to think about. We not becoming a part of the problem, but a part of the solution. How do we become a part of the solution? We become a part of the solution by living by certain principles. And I'm not going to preach here. I know everybody on this medium, this media is not Christian, so I won't preach here. However, um, Christ is my foundation, and the principles that are in the Bible are my foundation. So I can only draw from what is my foundation. I can understand and I can value other inputs, but I can only share from you from my own convictions. And therefore, being a husband of only one wife is a good thing. It's a safe thing. Yes? But being the wife of only one husband is a safe thing. This new configuration brings additional problems that we're not ready for, that someone we don't understand fully. Yes, and therefore I would say to all of us, stay away from those other convictions, those other connections, and configurations of relationship. Stick with the heterosexual model, um, and together we can do a fantastic thing. We can get freak everyone. Bottom line is man and woman doing it. So we stay away from the new the new paradigm in human evolution. I think I said right, but scientists would love me for that. So we need to stay away from those things. Those things will at least allow for your house to be happy and not necessarily peaceful. Not very, you're not going to be happy all the time. So let's just not fool ourselves. People will have disagreements, but at least you won't have that as a part of the issues that challenges you. Yes? And for those of you who are seeking relationships, because we are sexual beings, we are social beings, the fact of the matter is you should have some criteria and some guide as to how you go about selecting um, a partner for life. We said last time that it is serious. We spend many years training to become who we are, yes, and to become expert in the area of our career choice, yes. But for our relationships that last for a lifetime, we never do no research, so we don't know what the woman like, we don't know what the man like, we don't know what the 10 most important things to a woman or the 10 most important things to a man. That's what the lady was talking about on the video that we showed to. That some of those issues we are unaware of because we're not in a time to find out these things. And therefore, it's important that we take the time to find these things out. Yes, and again, I repeat it. If you go to a woman's house or you go to a man's house, you see a certain kind of paraphernalia, you see leather, you see a table, look like it belongs to a doctor's office, you see handcuff, you see a ball with a strap on it, and all these things. You have the right and the responsibility to ask, so what are those things for? If you don't ask, you might be in serious trouble. um, Even in terms of our finances, even in terms of what we will teach our children, what are the principles that will guide our teaching our children, those are important things because that set the foundation for society. If we get it right there, then we are going to impact on the crime and violence that is systemic in the wider society. And that's why I believe that where we need to start, even with the issues. I said last week, the police and the brute force thing that I'm doing will not solve the crime, will not solve crime. Because violence beget violence. And if you treat an innocent man bad, he will become violent. And you might be surprised. You might have some criminal thoughts too. Given the fact that he was wrong, yes, then there was no justification for brutalizing an innocent man because you're law enforcement, or to deny him his right because you're law enforcement, or to feel that whatever you say is law because you're law enforcement. Even law enforcement are guided and governed by law, and therefore, when those things happen, we create more monsters. We create people with criminal intent and violent people. So one of the things that we need to do as men, in particular, I'm not saying men because it's man cave, but if your wives are listening too, they need to become a part of the solution. Very often we say me, myself, and I. You in your small corner, and I in mine. We just run away to ourselves and these things. I mean, I don't really care about nobody else, and that is rubbish. Some of us care too much because some of us care about everybody else. Worse if it's a superstar. Worse if you should do like me and say something about Vibes Cartel children. You understand me? Who wants to follow in his footsteps? And you would have said to them, no, that is ridiculous and you are misguided. Go learn how to manage some business and go manage your business because you have the resource to create much, much more wealth than to try and get the fame and sit and think and to do all manner of evil, all manner of lewdness in order to become famous. And the persons, will have cost you out like how them cost me out. But the fact of the matter is I really don't care. But the bottom line is we do have a responsibility to our community, to our family, to our neighbors, right? And the responsibility we have is to become the best person that we can become. And that don't mean on an individual level where I say, yeah man, me are the richest man because I know I'm becoming the richest man, I'm one all we have. No, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the person who can care for other people's children and the person who can speak to other people's children. A person who can mentor other people's children and a person who can walk in the shoes of the other people. Yes? So the question we boil down to, we say we can change by starting with principles. Last week said this. Morning, good afternoon, hi, how you do? What's happening here now? Please, may I, that kind of stuff. that can basically help to break the ice. When you pass some guys on the corner and them rubbing out them on nigga, you don't pass and turn your face or walk on the other side or pass and scream your face or pass and remark. No. Good afternoon, young man. Can I pass? Thank you so much. Remind you, I don't want somebody to you know. That kind of approach also help to create a kind of narrative and a kind of perception and a kind of feeling in the person that you have some amount of respect for them. And I think if we start to behave and treat with some of our younger folks who are misguided, who are rubbing on them animals, who not mature enough to know what them want, and everything them friends say that is what them will follow. Yes, we'll have those too. But the bottom line is at the end of the day, if we start treating them in the way that we want them to treat us, you'll be surprised that there's a change. There'll be a change in them. Yes? So the younger ones need that kind of guidance, that kind of moral support, that kind of mentorship. Even if we're not talking about it formally, but that's kind of mentorship. Hi, young man, how you doing? Good evening, good evening. How you doing? So. Oh, your mommy, da 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 da. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how they become even more mild and more caring. We need to start doing some things differently. Yes? No, as we talk about doing things differently, it's not just in our own personal sojourn and movement through the community. That is the foundation, that's the starting point. But we must also start to find opportunities to mentor people. If we think that we have done some good things in our lives, if we think that we have accomplished some good things in our lives, if we think that we have something to contribute to the development of the next generation, we should make it available. We should make ourselves available to mentor those children. And so some people think mentorship is like a classroom thing. You're still there for 2 hours, or 4 hours, or 5 hours, or 6 hours a day, and then at the end of the day, you talk about God and me talk about God. That's not mentorship. And mentorship is simply sharing your experience with some. You can become more specific, but it is simply sharing your experience with the younger generation, preparing them, teaching them how to navigate the issues that they will face coming up. Yes, yeah, man. So that is part of it. So the bottom line is you're showing the youngsters respect. You're showing, no matter what they do. Yes, if you see them going and saying, I would suggest you that you are aware. But the fact of the matter is, if them smoking weed and there's a chat and a little some vibes card and music, which you don't like, the bottom line is you can say to themselves, "Good afternoon, young man, how are you doing? So and so and so and so." That's the kind of business list. Have you ever listened to something else? So and so and so and so. The conversation will go a far away. Some of them might feel like you're trying to get them busy too much. But everybody know when they reach a certain age, think that they are, invincible and they are responsible for everything. But the fact of the matter is, we know it's not so. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, we need to start making some moves. And the moves that we need to start making is outside of the fact that we are showing respect and doing the things that we need to do, you're going to have the one and two who don't respect you back. So don't be don't over process it. And the reason why I put that in the mix is this. You say out of 100 apple, you might find one bad. Out of 5 dozen egg, you might find two bad. The bottom line is though, you still have 4 dozen and 10 egg to deal with. You understand? So the bottom line is, what you throw away the 4 dozen just because too bad? No. So we have to continue to do what we have to do, and we have to reach and repeat. Repeat and repeat. We need to understand too that when people are young, women and men, when they are young, between the age of 17, 18, and about 25, their brains not fully developed yet. Women develop faster than men. So the women become more mature than men, even in their looks and in their speech, and they do their thing. The young men take a little longer time, but they will get there. Yes. The fact of the matter is, in that time, if you check it out, the people giving the most trouble right now are the people who you might find on the corners smoking a little spliff and mixed up with grab and all thing. Are the younger folks. You might not find most older folks out there. Although you have some big men that smoke weed and grabber. But the bottom line is, most of them that you see in the public domain are young people. And I'm saying we need to take it a step further. Show them respect, treat them with respect, treat them like you want somebody to treat yourself, and then we can start to make some deeper intervention in terms of mentoring these young men. None of them never ever thought about career choice. Some people, all them do it is that them just go school, and when them done school, them kind of figure it out. They can mix some matter, can want some money, buy an apple, buy a split. So when I find a good job, I'm gonna be like, so I go and give me some work now. Yeah, man, can give you 2 or 3 days work and that's it. And then them start from there. So other persons go on to do higher ed, and to learn a trade and whatever, and to become an expert in the area that is at. But the bottom line is at the end of the day, you really want persons to be the best that them can be, and you want them to be as efficient as them can be. And I'll give you an example, some people glorifying saying, listen, my son have 15 subjects, my son have 21 subjects, my daughter have 10 subjects. Yes? And then you ask them what you want to be. And all them need is four subjects to get into the university to do what they want to do. And yet say with the 21, mark you, if you want your achievement, you want to do it, you can do it. But how efficient is that? I tell you what time, think smart, not hard. Think smart, not hard. And therefore, if you need 4 subjects to get into the university, take 6 of them. I'm not telling you to live your life, But I'm saying you get there quicker, and guess what? And you become more efficient in what you do. Yes? Some people will do 21 now because their mind work that way. Their mind big, so they have to try work it through and load up. You understand me? But the bottom line is we need to start rethinking some processes. We need to start rethinking education, because sometimes education make criminal out of people. We have to start rethinking social media, because social media also contribute to people to bear things. And some of the little fool trends that we follow all the time. Yes? That can cost us our lives or cost us our friend lives or something. We need to take a step back. And in the areas where people are violent prone, you understand me? I would suggest to any man right now that you find somebody to whom you can speak. Yes? If there's a young man who comes from an inner city who works at your company, mentor that young man. Have a conversation with him. Share with him. Yes? Teach him some stuff that only fathers can teach sons. Teach him how to save. Teach him how to respect women. Teach him how to invest. Teach him how to care for other people. Yes? Nobody does that better than a father. Yeah? When he's around, if he's around. And we hear too much of the if he's around or when he's around too. So I am saying make it a point of duty to do these things. Make it a point of duty. So at the end of all of this, we can smile and say, God has been good because so and so and so and so. Yeah, man, that's all it ought to be. And therefore, one of the things that we want to do on the cave is to find out from you guys, and you can always type in the chat or you can send it on the WhatsApp group. We want to find out how many of you would be willing to mentor a young man, a student or a young man. A young man, when we call unattached youth, how much of us on this line would be willing to do that? And that's food for thought. And that's not just food for thought, because we really want to know. There is a national registry, for volunteers and mentors. And this is operated through the National Training Agency, HEART NTA. Yes? And therefore, you can also register with them. Yes? In the event where you want to participate, you can register with them. As a matter of fact, we can form our own little group here and do a little registry, which where we can find people to have the conversation with, where we can find young men and young women in order to mentor and to change their lives for a positive, in a positive way. So those are some of the things we can do. There are other things we can do too, because very often you see people in need, right? Little boy, talented, super bright, and is in need. My thing is, we can always contribute. What will stop us from buying a school bag for somebody and full it up with book and pens and all these things and let them have it? That's a question. We can do this. We can do this. And if you think about all the money that you might say, boy, a bag cost extra bag, you don't have to buy a bag, you can buy 2 books. We can buy 2 pens, two pen, crayon and sharpener. And next one can buy something else. And then when we're ready now to give it, we contribute something positive to the youngster's life. Him man might can't afford it or she can't afford everything. Why we can't help out? Why we can't make a difference? Why we can't be the change that we seek? We can, and that's the point. We can and we should and we will. So that is something that you and I need to have a discussion around. Any comments? You can comment as we talk. I'm not just rambling. We're talking about crime and violence and how we can impact the crime and violence. Right now, we're shooting babies. And I saw um, a picture last night with a little girl who says some succumbed to her injuries. She was she was at the wrong place at the wrong time when the young men were having a drive by. She died. I don't know what people understand, consider, or even take the time to process the fact that we're killing babies. We're killing our women folks, worse, we're killing our men folks, and we are killing our babies. Now, it's the people who understand now, baby. We watch movies and watch cartoons and we don't learn none from them. The circle of life. Life is a circle. It's a circle, it's a cycle. And we must come to fully understand how the cycle works. For the earth to continue, human beings need to be on it. And therefore, so people come, have kids, move on, kids have their kids, move on, kids have their kids. That is a circle of life. Ours, ours, yes, ours will soon come to an end. Yes, ours will soon come to an end. Ours will soon vanish and gone. Yes, but guess what? We would have left something here to continue the species after our own kind. Yes? So we were created in a way, and I don't want to get into it. We were created after the God kind because God said, let us make man in our own image, in our own likeness, and let him have dominion. Yes? So we were created, and therefore, and the Lord said, that is why a man should leave his mother and father and cleave to that which is his, which is a woman, bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. Yes? So you leave your house and create your woman and have kids. So then the kids grow up and the cycle continues. Yes? So that is how it is. And as we continue, we need to ensure that there is something here for us to continue. We can't condone and we need to talk up to. We need to condemn strongly people who kill children. This is not a war zone. This is not Baghdad. This is not America trying to watch on the body and then everything move get dead. No, that's not the case. That's not the case. This is not the case when we had centered people shot by either soldier, police, or whosoever, and there was no retribution. No, that's not the case. And therefore, let me say it again. We need, as men, principles must come back to our thought, our process, how we live our life. Principles must return. And therefore, we must condemn strongly men who kill children and women. And as a matter of fact, men who kill innocent men too. Mark, some of the men are not innocent, but the bottom line is, it is not their responsibility and duty to kill a person. That's why we have the police force. That's why we have all these machinery and equipment now to investigate that kind of something. Yes? And therefore, we must now start to say something different. We don't need to start to say, listen, if there's one in my household who has a challenge like that, or who wants to challenge your authority, my authority, then two bull now in the pen. At the end of the day, we must make sure that the world that we want to live in, continue to live in, that our children should live in, we want to ensure that we are part and parcel of the creative process for that world. We must demand some change too from government. He said, if we don't become proactive democratic citizens, we're going to become fodder and refuge and carcasses and corpse on the hill of development and change. We are never to be that. We need to demand some things. And it's not, we're not demand over nothing. It's kind of like say, in a politics, this is a shade the government must provide. Yes? Government must provide the wherewithal for the police to do their work. And the wherewithal training for them to do the work right. Yes? And therefore the violation of people's rights can't be upon that double there. Or if you violate people's rights, you have to face the consequence. Because when you make an enemy of an innocent minor, you don't even know that 10 more enemy, you think I want a 10. So we want to now tap into this. We can become mentors to individuals, we can do a group mentorship, we can do whatever. We would like for you to indicate what kind of mentorship that you can provide for them. Some person might want to know about career development, some people just want to know about life, some people want to know about school, they want to know which one you can help in that process. Yes? We will help, I will certainly help, certainly have been for the longest while, but I continue to press forward and the same thing will happen to you. But those are some of the issues that we need to take seriously. And then now for women, for all the wives on the line listening, and all the partners and the spouses on the line listening, we now need to start looking not just for ourselves, yes? And I don't mean you need to burn out yourself. And I don't want you to burn out yourself and I want you to take on everybody busy. You can't solve every problem. But what you can do is provide a word of encouragement. And that's where sometimes we need to do it. Sometimes we just need to leave a word of encouragement. Sometimes we don't need to take on nothing more. So that's a part of the challenge. As people, Jamaicans, non-Jamaicans, Caribbean people, whatever part of the world we are, we now need to take concrete steps to move the thing in a different trajectory. Right now, Jamaica is imaging bad. As I hope I drive by and so on. My thing is start having a conversation with your teenage sons and let them understand that the gun thing is unacceptable. If that's what they want, if that's what we require, it is unacceptable. And if that's what they want and require, then them and you can and same house. If them have an illegal firearm and you and them in the same house, then you are aiding and abetting them. You have become an accessory to crime and criminality. And I want us not to do that. I want us to be upstanding men. I want us to be men of integrity. I want when people look at you and say, yeah, well, that's a man. That man is different. They can't bring certain things to it. That's what we want. That's what I want. That's what I look forward to. Now, I'm still not seeing any comments, which is so unfortunate, because we're open to comments. We're open to hearing what people are saying. Yeah. And we're hoping that at the end, that person will say that I can mentor. I would like to mentor a young man from the inner city. I would like to mentor somebody. That's what I'm hoping that people say. That is true. That is true. Because if you come from a place where there's no respect and then somebody showing you respect now, that's a culture shock. But the bottom line, you get a different response from them. Because they say, what people don't understand is this, showing respect add value to the person. Not just yourself, but add value to the person interacting with. And that is part of the change that we need. That's part of the change we need. We need to stop being afraid of people. What other saying go? The Americans, took praying and Bible out of schools, and then what they have now is children who the parents are afraid of, children who the teachers are afraid of, children who the board members are afraid of, and the children themselves are afraid of nothing. That's what we have. And therefore, what we need to do is to start to change that dynamics. Again, we always talk about STEM, but I really believe in STEAM. Yes. So even the educational system needs to change to address some of these things. Yes. Yeah, man. Thank you so much, Sir Brown. Yeah, man. We need to change up some of these things. The bottom line is art can be so therapeutic. Yes, it can It can give you deeper insight. It can give you deeper insight about yourself. Yes. um, and all of these things, and so you'll be surprised how much art can impact somebody else. She might not be able to teach him to tell him anything about relationship, yes, but she can talk to him about business. She can talk to him about career choices. She can talk to him about life, because life happens, yes. When a young man who's not yet ready for a long-term relationship gets a girl pregnant, and the end result is, okay, she's pregnant, you have to try to take care of the girl. Because I might say, listen, me and the so you have to take care of the girl. You're taking care of the girl. And so the relationship become more concretized. That's why enough people get out shocked. Enough people get out married because they feel them in love when there was no love. There's really an error. There's really like we couldn't, you know, manage the testosterone level. We couldn't manage there's no self-control. And the fact of the matter is, trying to get tear off, sex happen, and you get pregnant. And no people have said, give a married to me. When the relationship never so deep, never so deep. So again, conversation need to start taking place. Conversation need to start taking place. And people need to own up to their responsibility. But sometimes we don't need to rush them in nothing where they're not version. That is also the challenge. Because some of them think, or some people think, no man, no, this happened, blah 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 blah. You have to do it this way. You have to chuck off or swim or join. But me don't want this and me don't want that. You understand me? Yes, art, critical thinking, problem solving. You see, that's all the art. That's the importance of art. No people look at the art and say art and craft. Yeah, discrete. But art, discrete subject areas. Drama, performing arts. You can be drama, sing, music, instrument, art. You can become a painter. You can become a sculptor. You can do all manner of things. A textile artist, you understand me? For other persons, you know, you can look at a number of different areas, a number of different areas, yeah, sports too. Sports, engender that kind of critical thinking, how to work in teams and group dynamics, that kind of thing. Listen, if you ever know the science that is involved, the science that is involved in the process of making art, you'll be surprised. No man can learn chemistry by doing art. If you're in a certain department, you can learn chemistry by doing art. If you ever deal with certain kind of clay, and certain temperature, because certain clay can fire at a higher temperature than others, you'll be surprised. You understand me? And I'm saying to people that it can be deep, but it can also be fun. We need now to have a conversation with some of these young men who are super talented. And let me just backtrack a little bit. When I was younger and the DJ phenomenon started to take place, I remember an English teacher, I'm trying to remember her name, short, fat lady, to teach me English at Edith Dalton James High School. And she said this, she said, if she had, I think it's there, I think that's where she said it, or I think it's she who said it, but I know somebody said it to me. If they had the foresight and the insight, yes, what they would have done is that they would have impacted more on the DJ culture. Why? Because they knew English, and so they could actually teach them how to write. They could actually teach them how to put together rhymes and lines. They could do this. Yes. You understand me? That is true, my good sir. But then again, some of them also want jobs in a specific era. But we're going to come to that, sir, bro. So the idea is this, this is what a teacher said. And she said, can you imagine if she was like a loving there, when she put together a song, shell, you laugh, you get so involved, you know what I mean? Loving was a teacher. That's what I mean. So some of those things needs to take place. Some of the things them where we think we pass by, really pass by because we have a next generation to pour into. So we need to start pouring into that generation now to build efficacy in them, to build resilience in them, to build the kind of competence in them that will see them weather the hardest and most difficult storm. Right now, the internet also allows for so many persons to do so many things. And yet still some of us are afraid to do it. Some of us, the systems are not set up for us to do it, because when I check this out, you want to do some business online, and you people want to pay overseas, and they want to pay us US dollars. And right now, for you to get an account that you can receive your payment directly in it is a joke. As a matter of fact, for you to open an account in Jamaica is a joke. Because you need about 4 or 5 ID. No matter about national ID, that never help. Because right now, them need your passport, your driver's license, your voter's and I just at a piece. That's crazy. So we need to demand some changes, because those changes also impact and dovetail into how the society will now begin to see itself and operate from a different level. We need to have some truth and reconciliation thing too. Because some people need to start telling the truth, because they have lied to us with all them life. They have not received the instrument of power, and they continue to lie. We need some truth and reconciliation with some things. We need some changes here. And we can demand, we can start our own little space. And that's why I'm looking forward to the Man Summit. I am looking forward to the summit, because the summit will hold so much. Listen, I am hoping that the people who come to the summit and those who come to present, when they finish, they will feel drained, because I want for them to pour out into you. I want them to pour out some common sense, some business ideas. I want them to pour out, some life experiences and some things that them weather. I want people to understand all these things. Yes? And I want them to understand. So listen, some things, because you see a man, you don't know him. You see, but you don't know him. He has been through so much that would surprise you. You understand me? So you don't judge a book by the cover. You don't judge a man by the how you see him. You don't just judge a man because one time you see my rope, I like a sweep knife and these things. You don't do that. Yes? And I want you to say, even if he's doing that, I want you to understand. I want you to understand this. That in a moment, when I'm in a year, I'm in a day. In a moment it happened. And you can have a great change taking place. I this was listen to what's up, man? TikTok. I was into a TikTok post, right? And a man was saying he went to a certain museum, I think it's in Italy. And there on the wall there are some pictures, and on the wall there was a man playing chess with the devil. I don't know if you guys see it. And the man was like, and the devil was like laughing. The devil laugh, and the man look like him worried. The man look like him worried all the time skull. Everybody passed and said, well, the devil have him wrap up, And angel was in the background. An angel in the background, I'll look over the thing, right? Yes. Bless you, my good sir. And so the issues, he might look on it, and him look concerned, and look puzzled, him look sad, him look kind of broken. The devil has smiled, the angel over them look very stoic, now smiling, no, just over the board, right, stoic. And everybody pass, like they might make a comment, say, boy, the devil have him just lose a battle. One of the man in the crowd, he was not a normal man. He was a chess champion. I don't know if it's Karpov or one of them, man. I guess the man bad. No, that's if you know what chess, yes. Yeah, the man like Karpov and the man bad. So the man walked past the painting, and so them gone on the tour, and the man stop, leave the tour group and come back and I look at the painting, right? And so the tour guide realized him never there about, and the tour guide returned, backtrack and find him and said, no, if you want to come in, you have to come here now because this thing. So he must say, why are you looking at that? He must say, why, there's something about the painting. The man said, yeah, man, the devil win. And the man said, no. He said, you know that I'm a chess champion, don't you? I must say, how much time I win the world? I'm a world chess champion. How much time I win these things? The man I said, yeah, man, this is me. I'm a world chess champion. He said, no, man, that's what it's about. So he said, I must say, I talk from a position of X. And so he looked at the painting and he said to the man, everybody think the devil win, but the devil don't win. He said the king have one more move. The man had mash up. As a matter of fact, I think I preached the man there preached when it said, he said, listen, he said the king have one more move. He said, listen, you might be sick, but God have one more move. He said you might be confused because you make a wrong decision, God have one more move. Everybody thought that the devil had won that chess match because the man looked so perturbed. But to the eyes of the expert, in the eyes of the expert, in the eyes of a man who knew chess, who play chess for a living, yes, and who is a champion chess player. Him said, no man, this game isn't done. The king have one more move. You understand me? You know, say the game are done until you checkmate now. The king have to get dead before the game done. You know? And he must say, no man, the king have one more move. And the one move where the king have is a strategic move. And so I'm suggesting to you that guess what? We have more moves than we might think. We have more moves than we might think. Some persons blame, and I'm going to take up two comments that I see here. Some persons blame criminality on the lack of social amenities and the lack of certain things. And I beg to differ. The government uses argument all the time, and I beg to differ all the time. Because I never grew up in the social amenities like that. My father never grew up with them social amenities there. It's Maxi that knew them come from. You understand me? And so certain things we never have. We never have sufficient and nothing. When I was growing, I never have sufficient shoes and never sufficient clothes. You understand me? No for you never go school yet with the bottom of your shoes gone and you put cardboard in. No for you never do that yet. No for you never know so if you get 4 pair of socks for one school semester, the 4 of them have one at the bottom because your shoes have one at the bottom. And when the cardboard wear out, you wear the socks. No for you don't know that. No people know say you always walk flat footed because you don't want nobody to see the whole of your shoes. You don't know that. No people know that. And guess what? We went through that. And we never went through it in one time where people never have nothing. You know. Remember say that at 60s, 70s, 80s when going to the bus wicked, man, I deal with them thing mad. Start of a kind of mini revolution. And we never joined that. We never joined it. So the lack of social amenities, while it can cause great stress and great hopelessness and whatever, it is still not the catalyst. Some people keep saying it's a catalyst. No, and I'm telling you, no. I grew with grandmother. I grew with a grandmother. We used to call her Tiger Granny. We used to call her Granny Bally. We used to call her kind of something. But she was a woman who, yeah, she was a disciplinarian, but she know for do her thing. She make her own errors, but the bottom line, she kept us in line. And we are not the worst for it. We are not. I got a flogging every time I do something bad. And I'm not the worst for it. I'm most of the time I do something bad. I'm not the worst for it. And I know right now that's what I say, don't beat the kids, I don't do it, I don't punish them. You must talk to them on these things. And I'm going to tell you something. We must do those things. And if you have a beat and teach, you can teach, you teach. That's simple much. But I'm saying though, when error come up, we need to find a way to make them know so it's an error. And some errors are more serious than some. I was told by a man, I'm not sure how true this is. He said, in the military, he said if you take the gun safety thing light and for a joke, they will kick you out of the military. Worse if you do it during training done for you. It's a question. I don't know truth, but that's what I was told. Yes? Now, that teach me two things. It means that discipline is very important. But then, discipline was not just relegated to your parents. My neighbor, if I did go do something wrong, I should see me like a by the road, she just hold me and give it to me. And if me chat like me, I go and want to chat tough and array, she just tell me, granny, get a second one. Understand me? We need to start teaching our children the things that are right, the things that are wrong, and tell them to listen, you're young, you need to do the right thing, exercise it, practice it, it will become a norm, normalize it to them. Yes, normalize it, normalize these things, normalize manners, normalize all the other issues them where we need to over treat people, over talk to people, over deal people, over deal with elders. Normalize it. Normalize being patient with them too, because right now it's seen that them so impatient that them can't wait for nothing. Normalize it. Normalize the fact that guess what? Some persons do have them O levels and what have you, and them still can't get a job. That is not something new for we know. That is something that go on a long time. But the fact of the matter is Jamaica needs to change its mindset. We have always, Sir Lewin said, one of the things we always said, them can't get a job. Create your own job. Create your own job. You can create a job. You can create a job. Good evening, Sir Louis. You can create a job. We can create it. We can create. Listen, we have a whole bunch of stuff around the house that we don't see the value in. But someone's going to come and see the value in it. We can create our own jobs. Yes? As black people, we don't like cooperatives. Because one of the things that as a me, myself, and I story, which is a wrong story. The Chinaman is not that way. As a matter of fact, I was having a conversation recently. And the person said, listen, You see when the Chinese people them come out here and them bring them family, them bring them mother and mother-in-law too. What the mother and mother do? The mother and the mother-in-law ensure that the children when them have a Jamaica know Mandarin. We never know that. They ensure that the children that are born to the because them marry each other, them not, don't of them not marry out, them don't of them might see a black woman and love her, have sex with her, but him not marry to she. The tradition is you find a China one to marry to a China man marry to a China man. When they have children out here, their parents ensure that the children learn Mandarin. You said the wife and the husband inside a fight, the parents don't care about that. For them responsibility is to take care of the people them and to ensure that they know Mandarin. If something happen and that store blew up out there and it affect them on the back, for them job is to ensure that the people them know Mandarin and the culture that they are tied to. May the wife and husband deal with the police issue when I front car the stove explode. You understand me? And the whole of them will be in a place, rotate the bed, yeah, rotate the bed until all them can afford for the certain things. Work hard and save, live for the minimum until them have certain things, below them things. You understand me? Right now, people say China walk all over the whole place now, buy out everywhere. I build road, I build this, I build that for people. Africa, Caribbean, Jamaica, all of the place. And we wonder why. When we were fighting our forces, they were saving for them money. And they built a manufacturing empire that right now make America look like foolishness. Right now, the East is rising and the North is going down. China and India making more millionaires per year than anybody else in the world. India. And India is one of the biggest slums in the world. 5 million people living in our slum. Sewage water flow through it and garbage piled up. The people in Dubai will tell you that they have a system. Dubai now, no. Dubai was pure sand. No, Dubai is a center and the mecca of shopping. Anybody wants to go to Dubai. They have an island where shaped like a coconut tree where they make themselves. You understand? Listen, you have to have a vision. And we spoke about it a long time. You have to have a vision, not just yourself, but for your community, for your family, for your community, for your country. And the vision, if you have a vision for a peaceful, law-abiding community, it means that you must be peaceful and law-abiding. It means that you must obey the law. You must ensure that your children obey the law. You must ensure that your children follow the law. You must ensure that you are the example to your children. That's what it must be. And sometimes the little disrespectful thing that we do sometimes, Sometimes we need to take stock. I am guilty of that sometimes. Because sometimes you're born a fire upon some politician. But the fact of the matter is, when your child see that politician at age 14 or so, him can't go say, yeah, born a fire upon the boy and No, him can't say that. You must address the man with the proper title. Mark you, we might have issues with those things, but the bottom line is, he is the honorary prime minister. So one of the things that we need to also do is kind of separate the emotional thing from regular thing and ensure that, listen, when we are dealing with the youth, we deal with them in a particular way so that them can have the kind of understanding, the kind of mentorship, the kind of example that them can follow as them come up. As them grow older, them will get more independent inside. So they might have their own chart about wow and what and all of these things. You know what we have done? We have fed and fostered a generation. We have spent a whole of money upon a generation of young people, right? And then shedding this whole of money upon them and make sure them get the best of everything. We never teach them principle. So one them grow up impatient. That's the first thing. Them now wait for 10 years for nothing. Now man, you can wait for 10 and 20 years. You're all and eat that. You know, they all look all, yeah, the old man, you buy, you eat that. Now wait 10 years for them. So they have become impatient. And principles are not a part of their DNA. At least for a great many of them. Not for all of them, because we can't put everybody in the same basket. But for a great many of them have no principle. So guess what? There was a survey run 2 years ago when there was an election, or 3 years ago when there was an election. A survey was run. And the people them say corruption is not the most primary thing on them radar. Yet still corruption has robbed Jamaica of so many benefits, international and otherwise. The corruption index in the perception of it is so high, it's crazy. Our politicians have not provided us with any example, but yet so the people say, they're not busy that. They want a choppy line. Them want a choppy line. And it become a household word. A little young man dress up in career day thing. Him dress up like a businessman, suit and attach a case and boast it like a what. Them ask him where man come. Him say man become a scammer businessman. He want to be a scammer. He want a choppy line. And him alone and next time say the same thing to him want a choppy line, he want to become a chopper. I will laugh. We will take bad thing with laugh. But they're growing up with the idea because of the narrative, because of the discussions, because of our position. Remember, children live what them learn, you know. You are the textbook them are reading, you know. So before them can read them, I read you, you know. They might watch how you operate, how you respond to certain things, how you say, all of these things. And that's why sometimes when we love cuss bad on people and people because, oh, it's so cute, man, I cuss a little bad. No, nobody with it. Nobody cuss a bad on you. Make him feel uncomfortable when he cuss a bad one. Make him feel uncomfortable when he cuss a bad one. Make him start wearing one knife for the right thing, you know. Yeah, man, for real. So my thing is different approach. All of us have a responsibility. And the responsibility is not just to yourself, the responsibility is for the next generation. We're going to change Jamaica. We can change Jamaica. 12 man change the world, you know. No matter what people want about Christianity, you know. A 12 apostle. All of them who died. One of them dead from natural cause, and the rest of them were killed. 12 man changed the entire world. 12 man shell down the entire place and have people that say all manner of things. 12 man keep Jesus from the lips of the people them. 2,000 odd years after him dead. And if you check it, Jesus never owned a house. He never owned a carriage. He never owned a ass. He never owned a donkey. He never owned a cow. At least not in the physical sense. But he did so much good. His life was so impactful. His ministry was 2.5 years. But it was so impactful. Listen, people not stop. When they love man, hate him, believe that him live, I no live. The bottom line is 12 man have we are talking about Jesus for more than 2,000 years. So we can change Jamaica. One heart at a time. One soul at a time. One person at a time. We can do it like what the man said in Africa. How do you eat an elephant? How do you eat an elephant? Simple. You eat him one mouthful at a time. You can't eat him all. You can't eat him all. You have to eat him one mouthful at a time. Chop him and put in the fridge and eat him little bit till you're done. It might take you a year or two, but the bottom line is you can't eat him all. One mouthful at a time. And therefore, some things that we need to start with re-examine now. Re-examine what we desire as a society. What are the living conditions that we would want? Yes? Some people want a big house on the hill. That is nice. I would like a house on the hill to come alive. If you understand? But is that my standard? Because if you have a house on the hill now, I still have to grill it. I don't want to also have a grill. I live in a grill house already. I live in a prison already. I live in a place where night come, I have to hold on to the two grill and look out. I go for the key for the lock and open it. You understand me? Because grills are not decorative things. Grill was made to secure you, so you become a prisoner in your own house. Kind of want nobody come in there come murder you. Why we can't change that culture? Why we can't change the mindset and the thinking so that people don't start thinking, yeah, for real, for real. Yeah, man, we have to find a way to change it. You understand me? And I'm not talking about the proliferation of guns, guys. We can think about the proliferation of guns. I say, so everybody for strap. You know what I mean? So them say in a certain place in America, the crime rate went down because the man them start afraid that the legal firearm holder more than the police. Now we now ask a question if you come in my house and you don't know you, then is the case done. And if you touch my wife and my daughter, case done again. You understand me? Because we never go for the police, we deal with the thing. So that kind of approach we're not what we're advocating. Although we may get there at some point in time. But the bottom line is we need to live in a space that allow us to breathe, live in a space that allow us to feel comfortable, live in a space that would allow us to move forward and not be worried. I should be able to leave my house and the worst a man come off the grill, or even down the grill a man so walk in and kick out the door, or whatever you. We need to have a change of heart and change of mind. We have made errors as adults. I have made errors as an adult. Yes, there are some things that I should have taught that I never did teach. And those are some of the things we need to try to revisit. There are some things that we taught, yeah, we were taught, but we never teach that to our children. But that needs to change. And it's important that the change come. Because if you notice, the world is moving faster, information is moving faster, everybody wants to do everything faster. And that even is now poured into the fact that we have children and young people who are impatient. Yes, they want what they want and they want it now. Yes, some people even go as far as to sacrifice the future for the things they want now. Some people want to travel now, so them spend a whoop of money basically buy tickets will go someplace a 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 day, 1 week and come back. Yes, rather than saying okay, make a save this money and put on some routes and security. Some people know, well, one of the things what is good is that people know have a broader idea and perspective. People traveling now, and the traveling is giving them a wider perspective on several issues. Yes, those things too helpful. It helps you to educate, it helps you to grow, it helps you to be mindful of the fact that your opinion alone is not it. When I talk on this forum, I know that my opinion alone is not it. Yes, I mean, because other person will have other opinions, but together we can have a conversation. And in having that conversation, all of the issues can be placed on the table. Because I might have seen it one way, you see it another way, and next one see it another way, and the next dynamics that can add to it. But the bottom line is at the end, we have a fulsome understanding as what it we need to do. Yes, we should live in a country where pre-their last seem to be a career option by many. Yes, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that a man raise him goat and a man come take 15 head of goat from him. Because that's a film job to take 15 head of goat from the man without pay the man by night. The man don't do business at night. People kill a cow. A cow worth $300,000-$400,000 prize bull, a red pole bull, or one other bull them. And a man come and just back up a truck and go and thing. That should not be the norm. It should not be the norm. It should not be the norm that people can kill you and 100 people around there and nobody know who kill you. That should not be the norm. That should not be the norm. It should not be the norm. That everybody see I'm blind here and deaf. That should not be the norm. It should not be. We need to live in a society where the norm is if a man violate and kill you before even him arrested. And before the month done, them book him and him try and sentence. That's what I forgot. It can't be that a man kill him for 5 years on the road and walk up and down and enjoy himself. I drink some cold red stripe but you can't drink because you're dead. No, you see, we have to change some stuff and we have to demand these changes. Yes? We send our children to school and we realize so we send them and them get whoop a career, lawyer, this and that and that. But the bottom line is, how does that dovetail into an improvement into the systems, the social systems that impact on our lives, that impact on the quality of life, that impact on the situation that might foster criminality and injustice? We must start to think, and we must demand a national dialogue on it. Yes, we must demand a national dialogue on these issues. And I believe that the men, I believe that men can lead this process. I believe that we can demand this. Yes, I can believe if we revisit our mandate, our God-given mandate, yeah, as priest and protector and provider of our household, if we return to that mandate, I believe that we can make a difference. And that don't mean that a wife must work and have money and do her thing. No. I mean, I say that. I mean, I say that some women don't do these things. You understand me? Because single parent household do these things. Your mother do it. If a single father, them do it. Or them try their best to do it. But I'm saying, everything have a kind of perfect nexus. Yes? To get the perfect offshoot, or the perfect example, or the perfect execution of a perfect process. Yes, and I believe that process would require that men understand their own calling and purpose in this life. We can't sit idly by and the world go to hell in a handbasket while we okay because we are paid two domino and we go and bill. That can't be the case. And therefore, as such, I want us to rethink, reconsider. We are looking at creating some jobs for men or show them how them can actually earn. You understand me? And as I say, as soon as those things come together, you'll be earning. We teach you how to earn online. We teach you how to earn otherwise. We teach some skills that you can become entrepreneurs. And basically, we not ensure, but we'll provide you with the opportunity. Yes? And if you maximize those opportunities, I believe that you can become a better human being, a better man to your woman, a better father to your children, a better son to your mother and your fathers. Yes? And Jamaica will benefit from it. We start small, but we must grow this. We must talk to the people around us about this. Yes, we must start talking to them about it, about how we can improve our lives, how we can improve our community, how we can change the dynamics. We need to do that. This is man talk. Again, sometimes we talk some hard-hitting stuff. Sometimes we put some things out there. Not everybody going to receive it, but the bottom line is we have to start the dialogue. The dialogue must start. The narrative must be there. They must not say it was never said. They must not say they never know what to do because we had a conversation about it. And we can take a stand collectively or individually. Yes, united we stand, divided we fall. Yes, so we're going to stand united. And when you stand united, the probability is more than likely that you will succeed. There's great strength in numbers, and we have numbers. We need to make the numbers work for us. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Yes, Men Summit in June, and we're working out all of those issues with speakers and so on and so forth. And we're looking forward for the participation. And I think those are Men Summit. We will not say to the women that you can't come in because everybody can learn something. They will begin to understand their own partners. They will begin to understand the opposite sex more. They'll begin to understand what makes some of us tick. Then we begin to understand what makes some of us broken too. And the fact of the matter is, collectively we can heal. Collectively we can make a difference. Collectively we can improve the lives of even one among us. And that's what we're going to start. So, big things ahead. I think our season 2 is around the corner too. So we're going to work it. We're going to grow it. And of course, we're still having our project, that school down by Portsmouth. We're going to still do it. We are finalizing the issues with the principal, paint and so on, so we can go there and provide them with some labor, and we can tag that project. That will be Man Cave project, yes. And all the men can, of course, participate and, of course, enjoy the fruits of their labor. We're going to impact on some young lives, impression on minds, yes, and we're going to do it in fine style. Gentlemen, prepare yourselves. We're going to announce a date very soon, and when we announce a date very soon, we'll meet together, drive down to this place, do a day's work, and hopefully we'll finish it off, and we will more than likely be proud of ourselves, which is good. We have contributed to the community, and we have contributed to the lives of the younger ones. Be blessed. Thank you, Acts 2 viewers, for being here. And of course, our final episode, which will be coming up, we will dovetail it into Acts 2. It will be more of a spiritual nature, and we'll make it work for you. We know everybody's not Christian, so we understand that. But the bottom line is, principles of the scriptures are very important to us, and we're not going to leave it out. Love you same way, and we always want to share our heart with you. Be blessed. Okay, thank you so much. All right, listen up for our projects that are coming up. Yes, we want to participate in the building of that space for that gentleman. We also want to do the school, paint up that school for the Portsmouth people. So we're going to do that too. And we do have the men's summit coming up. So, those are some activities that you can look forward to. And that's also wonderful. we will. Well, if we come on next week, it will not just not to be a podcast. It's just really to give you some information about the projects, where we can meet. We want to meet. Right now, the place is open. We can do this face to face with some protocols in. We want to meet so that we can talk men's talk. Yeah, talk about life, talk about issues, talk about money, talk about finance, talk about relationship and all these things. So I will see you at those events. We'll see you, and we'll keep you posted, keep you abreast. Do have a wonderful Sunday afternoon. Thank you all for participating and coming. Thank you, Sir Lewin and Sir Brown, for your contribution. Thank you, 004, for your contribution as well. And we look forward to just having this wonderful camaraderie, this coming together, this sharing, this working out, this contributing. This we have to make it positive. Listen, we can't pass through the earth and don't make impact on people's lives. So that's what we're about to do. And our wives are invited to, if they so desire to come on those projects. Amen. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for participating. Thank you for sharing. This is Man Cave. I'm your host, Maurice Prince. Thank you, Tech. The rest of the Tech team, doing a wonderful job. And before I run away, our store issues go up, it could be good if we run a little art workshop just to give them some basic skills. So we'll be looking into that, teaching young men how to, put their emotions on canvas and paper and whatever they do in the clay, We're going to look into doing workshops and see how best we can help to change some mindset. And listen, our store is up. Please do support. I know our brother, Sir Bailey, we need to, he won a cup because he invited a number of persons, shared on the whole place. So we're going to give him one of our hot cups so, he can go and beat some juice. And of course, the next time you see me, I'll be in my Man Cave paraphernalias. Hopefully I'm drinking coffee from the cup, you know what I mean? So look forward to that. Please do support where you can. Yes, it's going towards our worthy cause. All our projects need funding, and therefore it is partially how we fund projects. And of course, we are a part of the Do Good By Me ministry. Yes. A wonderful young lady, you know what I mean? Started this ministry. We do parental talks and so on. It's wonderful. So we continue to do good. I continue to do good by you, and you continue to do good by me. Over and out. Man Cave.